So the Indiana Fever just can't go 2 days without controversy. They just can't. They really just can't. This is one of those things where I'm like, the Fever are, as an organization, this one might not even be their fault, which is mad. But they just can't go a day without some controversy. So this is why you don't sign Bree Turner. This is why you don't sign Bree Turner. Straight up. So Bree Turner is getting into a little bit of a rant. And by the way, Bree Turner in the last 3 days has blocked me on Twitter. I don't know what I said or did to get blocked by Bree Turner, but the odds of me getting blocked because I have referred to her as human shot clock. Yeah, you know what? I'd block me too. I blocked me too. But she was the greatest shot clock ever. And look, she was better than Dantas. But we're seeing her for the Vegas Aces this year. She stinks at basketball. Like, she actually has no redeeming quality on the court. Seems like a lovely human being, but this is why you don't sign Bree Turner. So, obviously, she's talking about Cheryl Reeve. She's obviously calling out Sophie Cunningham. And in the middle of this whole thing, she just goes, an issue to cause problems, though. Last year on my WNBA team, a male staff member was fired for sexual harassment, but we were encouraged to keep quiet about it. That is an issue. Sexism, misogyny, homophobia. So that is massive. A crazy accusation to make towards the Indiana Fever. I'm not saying it's real. I'm not saying it's fake. Probably is. Someone says DeWanna leaving mid-season means DeWanna left after 9 games. The odds of this happening, the players didn't even know why DeWanna left. The odds of this happening when DeWanna was there was pretty low, considering the fact she left in May. Like, she showed up in April and left in May. But, like, at the end of the day, when it comes to this, where everyone says gross thing to do as an organization, like, this does look bad. And if it is a case, like, we don't know the full story. If it is a case that the victim specifically did not want it coming out, and you have released this information, then you are the bad guy. If that's not the case, and the Indiana Fever tried to hide it, then obviously punish the Indiana Fever. Throw the fucking book at them as an organization. We got to be very, very clear. There are very different ways you can look at this, and we don't know the full information here. Like, if the Indiana Fever were trying to hide this, throw the book. Throw the book at them. If it was a case that the victim did not want anything to get out, and it turns out the victim reported something, they don't want things to be public, and they just fired the person, the Indiana Fever did everything right. So we don't really know that. And Indiana Fever respond with protecting our players and employees and maintaining a respectful professional workplace our top priority. Our policy is taken seriously, investigate thoroughly, and act promptly when appropriate to protect people in our organization and ensure everyone is treated with professionalism and respect. Rostering trust and safety in that process means we do not comment on personal matters involving former employees. I'm going to be honest. The way this response sounds, and it does kind of read bad if you are social media brained. In fairness, I am. This read really bad the first time I read it. It took reading back on it and thinking, okay, yeah, clearer head, looking at this, and I'm like, what the hell is this response? And I'm like, if it was a scenario where an employee got fired for it and the victim did not want it coming out, and the discouragement in it was the team basically saying, look, respect the victim in this scenario. We fired the person. She doesn't want to come out. And then Bree Turner's done this. This is really, really bad. This is really, really bad from Bree Turner. But on the opposite end, if the Indiana Fever are hiding this for some reputational sake of the guy who rightfully lost their job, then obviously throw the book at the Fever. This isn't as simple as it seems. And I'm just annoyed that Bree Turner's contract ended in November. Bree Turner has had November, or it was ended October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. She has had 8 months to bring up this scenario. She has had 8 months to talk about this, but conveniently only brings it up when it's a sneak diss to Sophie Cunningham. Conveniently only brings it up then. And again, you played for the organization. It says here, we were encouraged to keep quiet about it. This is the biggest activist in the league. Why, if it was really as bad as she said, really bad situation, the organization hiding it, you should have walked there and then. You were getting paid $60,000. You should have walked there and then, and I think everyone would have supported you, including me, by the way. I think any reasonable person, if she walked from the Fever and said, I can't play for this organization anymore. A man just got fired for sexual harassment and the organization tried to sweep it under the rug. She could have left the Fever and signed for anyone. She could have left the Fever and made way more money doing speaking engagements. And I think if in that scenario, if that is how it played out, every reasonable person would have defended her. And let's be very clear. Like, I'm not out here saying going out at Brie Turner. If the Fever are in the wrong, the book should be thrown at the Fever. If it turns out that it's the opposite way, that Brie Turner has brought to light something that the people involved doesn't want to be brought to light, then Brie Turner should be punished. Again, we don't know the situation. We actually don't know the situation. And look, the Indiana Fever are either the biggest joke of an organization and should be investigated and punished, or they took a claim of sexual harassment seriously and fired fired the person accused of it, and they and afterwards respected the wishes of everyone involved. It's one of those things now where I'm just like, I know it's an easy thing to hate on the Fever org, and I've fucking done it too. This organization is a joke. But this is a lot more nuanced than Fever right, Fever wrong, or Fever gross, Fever right. Like, we don't know. We don't know. And this feels like it's a sneak diss to Sophie Cunningham. The timing of this is a sneak diss. Feels like it's a sneak diss to Sophie Cunningham. It does. It just does. And at the end of the day, for just the sake of, I don't even know which outcome is best to be real, because if Brie Turner has just brought up a situation that was not supposed to have been out there, by the people involved, and then Brie Turner has just opened a can of worms that shouldn't have ever been opened, which is awful, and is fucking dragging people through this again. Or on the opposite end, if the Indiana Fever made people hide sexual harassment allegations for their own gain, then like the Indiana Fever are just horrible as an organization. Everyone involved should be fired. Like, there is more nuance to this, and I don't know which I hope is true, because both outcomes are horrible. Both of these outcomes are horrible, and at the end of the day, we won't know, because the Indiana Fever obviously aren't going to say anything. They're just going to put word salad out there. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like, this is not really a situation where you're like, okay, it's not really a situation where any outcome is good. Like, this is on a human level, every outcome's a bad outcome here, and it's a shitty one. And again, if this turns out to be the organization not going public with this because of rather than protecting the like the person fired to based on what they were asked to do by the victim of it, then Bree Turner needs to be kicked off the PA, if that is the case. And I'm not making any accusations. If that is the case, that has to be the outcome. And again, if it is the case that the Indiana Fever hid a sexual harassment, told players to hide sexual harassment, then the book needs to be thrown at the Indiana Fever. And I don't know what way you can do it, because if the people involved in this weren't necessarily basketball people, it's hard to punish them on the court. But like, it should be if that is the case, every person obviously should be fired. And I don't know, maybe we start to look into if it goes all the way to top of Herb Simon. This is something where if Herb Simon knew about it, and if it is the worst that the players were told to hide it, and just for organizational reputation boost, because they didn't want reputation of the organization to be damaged, that's when you look at Herb Simon being forced to sell, if that is the case. But anyway, I'll see you guys.